heard that a couple of days ago you got this notification on your phone saying that agree for WhatsApp to share your data with Facebook, which is basically all they were asking you to do. And some of you clicked agree, some of you pretty much just ignored it and went on with your life. Well, those who ignored it after 8th of February, if you don't agree, you can't use WhatsApp again. That's what Facebook is saying. The mother company of WhatsApp and Instagram and Facebook says if you don't agree to share your data with them, then it means you don't want to use the app. And so, I'm sure you want to know what this whole thing is about. Should I be worried? Should I be concerned? Am I safe? Those pictures, those groups that I'm in, like Winston was saying the last time when we had this conversation on Super Money Show, he said there are some groups we don't want people to know we are in. Are you worried about that? Well, we're going to have that conversation, a very, very expansive conversation. We'll try to zero in on the nitty gritties, the details of everything that has to do with this whole privacy issue. I mean, until today, I'd never realized how concerned people are about their privacy. You know, it's surprising. I'm seeing people sign up to Telegram like per minute. Everybody's just switching, signing up. Telegram, Signal. Well, welcome to the other side, people. We'll be right back. I think we should play that video or audio for those who are listening. Those who are watching on Facebook, you can watch it live. If you're listening on radio in your car going home, yeah, you hear it. But yeah, and on Twitter, Periscope, and on YouTube, it's Geek Squad.
Not if you're in a car, though.
Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
If you've messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that may be what this is all about. Your right to privacy, the limits of your right to privacy, and how much you give away in modern America in the name of, quote, connecting people around the world. A question basically of what information Facebook's collecting, who they're sending it to, and whether they ever asked me in advance my permission to do that. Is that a fair thing for a user of Facebook to expect?
Yes, Senator. I think everyone should have control over how their information is used. And as we've talked about in some of the other questions, I think that is laid out in some of the documents. But more importantly, you want to give people control in the product itself. So the most important way that this happens across our services is that every day people come to our services to choose to share photos or send messages. And every single time they choose to share something, they have a control right there about who they want to share it with. But that level of control is extremely important.
They certainly know within the Facebook pages who their friends are, but they may not know, as has happened, and you've conceded this point in the past, that sometimes that information is going way beyond their friends, and sometimes people have made money off of sharing that information. Correct?
Senator, you're referring, I think, to our developer platform, and it may be useful for me to give some background on how we set that up, if that's useful.
You have recently announced something that is called Messenger Kids. Facebook created an app allowing kids between the ages of 6 and 12 to send video and text messages through Facebook as an extension of their parents' account. You have cartoon-like stickers and other features designed to appeal to little kids, first graders, kindergartners. On January 30th, the Campaign for Commercial-Free Childhood and lots of other child development organizations warned Facebook. They pointed to a wealth of research demonstrating that excessive use of digital devices and social media is harmful to kids, and argued that young children simply are not ready to handle social media accounts at age 6. In addition, there are concerns about data that's being gathered about these kids. Now, there are certain limits in the law, we know. There's a Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. What guarantees can you give us that no data from Messenger kids is or will be collected or shared with those that might violate that law?
All right, Senator, so a number of things I think are important here. The background on Messenger Kids is we heard feedback from thousands of parents that they want to be able to stay in touch with their kids and call them, use apps like FaceTime when they're working late or not around and want to communicate with their kids, but they want to have complete control over that. So I think we can all agree that when your kid is 6 or 7, even if they have access to a phone, you want to be able to control everyone who they can contact. And there wasn't an app out there that did that. So we built this service to do that. The app collects a minimum amount of information that is necessary to operate the service. So for example, the messages that people send is something that we collect in order to operate the service. But in general, that data is not going to be shared with third parties. It is not connected to the broader Facebook experience.
Excuse me, as a lawyer, I picked up on that word in general, that phrase in general. It seems to suggest that in some circumstances it will be shared with third parties.
No, it will not.
All right. Would you be open to the idea that someone having reached adult age, having grown up with Messenger Kids, should be allowed to delete the data that you've collected?
Senator, yes. As a matter of fact, when you become 13, which is our legal limit, or limiter, we don't allow people under the age of 13 to use Facebook, you don't automatically go from having a Messenger Kids account to a Facebook account. You have to start over and get a Facebook account. So I think it's a good idea to consider making sure that all that information is deleted, and in general, people are going to be starting over when they get their Facebook or other account.
So you heard Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, who is the CEO of the Facebook company, and yeah, he was sweating kakra. Yeah, the man was being asked whether he'd be comfortable. This was when he met Congress, when they were having this whole antitrust conversation, and he was asked whether he'd be comfortable sharing the hotel he slept last night. He said no. Would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the person you messaged yesterday or the last person you messaged? He said no. Yet this is the same Facebook that is taking people's data and basically asking to share it. Anyways, so in the studio with me I have Michael Ajete, aka at @Ajete on Twitter. Hi Michael.
Hello everybody.
And one elusive gentleman, Joseph Kwe from the E-Crime Bureau. Hi Joseph.
Hi Spiky.
Great to have you here. And we have on Zoom Mikael Nkrumah. He's a lawyer, and he's also going to be giving us the legal perspective on this conversation. And you see, this is very important because a lot of people find it very difficult to read terms and conditions, all those legal jargons. They don't understand it. So we'll be going to him to get a breakdown on some of those jargons and why it's so long, and why all that obfuscation with all those terms, some of the things that we can never understand. Anyway, so Joseph, I'm going to start with you. What is happening with WhatsApp and Facebook and the whole shebang?
Okay, all right. So, firstly, good evening to the listeners and anyone watching us. It's not about what is happening; it's what has been happening, right? Because, yes, recently Facebook updated their privacy policies. That WhatsApp, their junior company, they want to access the data that is that people use on WhatsApp, and that has caused the uproar. But the truth is that they've been doing this for a while, right? I think everyone has that familiar experience whereby you go on Facebook and then there's a friend suggested, right? And you realize, no, you know what? This friend is a contact on some phone that I have Facebook Messenger on. So how did they suggest the person? You think they are just being smart? So I think they've been doing these things, not just Facebook, Google, and all of these people have been doing it. It's just that, based on what has happened over the past 3-4 years, starting all the way from what they did in the elections, the US elections, with Cambridge Analytica playing a role in harvesting people's data and making use of it.
Yeah.
And I think these things have got people interested in what their data is and what exactly people are doing with it. So I think it's something that's been happening, and it's only that now people are just a bit more interested in it based on the recent events that we've had.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what I think.
Michael, are you on WhatsApp?
Yes.
So you haven't uninstalled the app?
No, I cannot uninstall the app because, and this is something I'm finding that a lot of people are also struggling with. Yes, they come and give us this warning as someone everyone's suddenly more concerned about their privacy than they were already. So everyone now jumping ship. Let's go to Signal. Let's go to Telegram. But then they do that. They jump ship, and then they realize that, oh, I have to bring the rest of my family members with me. And now what was simply a case of how many taps to uninstall and reinstall are 5 taps, excluding your password, is now a multi-week, multi-course training program on various chat apps for the rest of your non-tech savvy family members. And you just realize, why? Is it really worth all this effort to jump ship when, as far as they're concerned, and this is not even the case where we've not discussed whether or not they're even willing to jump ship. As far as they're concerned, it works fine. Why do I need to come and learn something new? And you have to explain to them what's your privacy. They're like, what you should know, as well as any one of our listeners, what it's like trying to explain higher tech level problems like privacy to the non-tech savvy generation, and we call them that. So yes, as much as I'd love to leave WhatsApp, I still have it, and it is still very active for me. Although it was very interesting seeing every 10 minutes, this person has joined Telegram, this person has joined Telegram, this person has joined Telegram, this person who left Telegram has come back. So it's like, ooh, there's a lot of that going on. But the only thing I took from all of this is how happy you must have been, Spiky, the televangelist. Nobody pushes this app more than you, and for good reason. And it was always very funny to watch all this thing happen. I could hear your smugness from the other side of town.
Truth of the matter is, yes, I've never really enjoyed the WhatsApp experience, and I've been trying to get people to move to Telegram. But then that's another conversation for another day. Today we want to let people understand what is happening with Facebook and WhatsApp, why Facebook has decided to let us know what they've been doing all this while. So Mikhail Nkaza, he's a legal tech analyst, clarification. And Mikhail, I'd want to know what it means for Facebook to decide to share people's data from WhatsApp to Facebook legally.
Okay, so I hope you can hear me, Spiky.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so the name is Michelle, not
Michelle. Sorry.
Okay, so I think in the context of our conversation, we need to know what data is so that we understand why people's data is very concerned here. With us here, data is simply our personal information. So when all of us were born, we were given a name. And as we grew, we were also given, or we acquired a mobile phone. So we got a phone number, we got a network. We had so many things as we grew, even got bank accounts and all of that. And legally, everyone has a right to privacy. So in Ghana, our right to privacy is granted under Article 18.2 of the 1992 Constitution. So under no circumstances should your right to be privacy be interfered. There are some exceptions where we need it for public safety, public morality, and also to protect the rights and freedoms of others. But it's a fundamental human right that you must enjoy. So data privacy at all points must be protected. So, for instance, imagine all the data within a government institution is getting into the wrong hands or is getting into the hands of the enemy. Just imagine what can happen to all of us. So I think we should all be concerned that our data is going to be shared with Facebook.
Right. So, Joseph, you work with the E-Crime Bureau, and you've been doing stuff with regards to cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Michelle says we should be concerned, and he's listed some of the kind of data that people have. What does Facebook gain from sharing this data? But before that, can you list all the data that's being shared with Facebook from WhatsApp?
Okay, so I think at a cursory look, if you look at the policy they updated, they will be capturing your profile picture, right? Your contact information, your contact information, right? Your status messages, right? The kind of things you share on there, and other telemetry data, okay, that ultimately describe your chat experience whilst you're on WhatsApp. So those are the things that they are taking. And should I answer the second part?
Yes.
I think it's not even an answer. It's more like a discussion. So I think why they want all of that is because, You see, Facebook is not a social network. Google is not a social network. They are advertisement companies that have a social network service. That's what people need to understand, right? So their primary, at least from a business perspective, is to make money through advertisement. And that is where all these things become important, because an advertiser is interested in who can get their product out to the person that is likely to buy it. So if I have this data, right, it's easy to realize that, you know what, you keep on discussing about the fact that you're about to have a baby and you are not prepared. So if I have a business owner who is interested in selling baby product, or at least something relating to what you are discussing, you are likely to pursue or click that thing. And that is where this data comes from. So they take all of that, do the analysis on it, and this is what they streamline and then use to connect advertisement companies or advertisers to people. In this case, the people being you, the same person that they're harvesting information from. So it's solely business.
So it's strictly business.
Strictly
Nothing
business. And I think I'll add to it that it's been a pipeline, right? WhatsApp was bought in 2014, right? 2014. They came into existence in 2009. You know the founder has left the place.
Yes.
You know why the founder left the place? Because Facebook wanted to introduce business into WhatsApp's business and WhatsApp's model. And there are two things they were going to do. One was that they were going to start serving advertisement through people's status messages. The second one was that they were going to let businesses, which is the people that pay them, be able to contact WhatsApp users using specific tools. And I think that kind of discussion, the owner who created WhatsApp was not a fan of it. He's the one who created Signal eventually. He left the table. So Facebook has been trying to monetize and get money from WhatsApp for a while.
I mean, if you bought a product like WhatsApp for 140 billion, would you
you wouldn't say, especially if WhatsApp has 2 million active users. That is a lot. Is it million or billion?
Billion,
I think it's billion.
It's billion.
Billion. So that's a sizable amount of the world's population. That is money in terms of data that Facebook is seeing.
Cash.
So for me, it comes to money. Okay, it's money. It's a money decision, and Facebook is making money moves.
So, what you're saying is that people should not be worried that their data that's being collected is going to be shared with, let's say, the FBI, for someone who's in America, or the CIA, or let's say for those in Ghana, the BNI or Ghana Police. Because maybe I had a conversation with my friend that I wanted to buy, quote unquote, something illegal, like a firearm. And it was probably a jest. And then Facebook sees that and then says, this guy, he's planning something, and sends it to Ghana Police. Is that what's going to happen?
Okay, so that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting, especially from that security and political perspective. I would wish to say that would not happen, right? But Facebook's track record shows that they can't be believed when it comes to these things. And that is strictly because of the US elections, right?
Yeah.
A company in UK, Cambridge Analytica, was harvesting people's Facebook data and building psychological profiles on them, and then using it to target them with political ads, which was successful. In fact, they are saying that it helped Ted Cruz get his Senate seat and things of that sort. So Facebook has a past that has shown that data that it says, now this is the same thing, that the same language they're using with the WhatsApp. They're saying that they're going to share it with their Facebook group of companies. And there are a lot of companies under the Facebook group of companies. So that fear, right, even though people may have it, it may seem irrational. Look, Facebook has a track record that you can use to justify that, yes, if they have, at least not directly, a third party could be used to leverage to get that data that we are seeking to protect.
But then again, Facebook says WhatsApp's messaging service is end-to-end encrypted. And for you, who is in the cybersecurity space, you can tell us. End-to-end encryption means that nobody can crack this, right? I mean, Signal protocol. Oh, why is that man laughing at me? They said it's end-to-end encrypted. Once it leaves my phone, it's in the air. It is like, poto. When it arrives on the other end and it becomes, the, what do you call that thing called? The cocoyam and the thing that I used to make the poto. Then it becomes back to the original. It reassembles to the original state. Nobody will be able to tell. Is that what it is?
Look, well, it could be, right? I mean, that's the case of WhatsApp being end-to-end encryption. That one is true, it's there. But that doesn't change the fact that if you agree to a terms and condition that says that, fine, end-to-end encryption is there, but at the end of the day, whatever is being shared from one end to the other end, I have the right to use it for, for some of my business partners.
So they could use the content of that encrypted
Yeah.
message.
At the end of the day, right? You are saying that the data is, you see, what you are signing up to, right? What you are signing up to sort of defeat a tiny bit of the purpose of the end-to-end encryption. The end-to-end encryption is supposed to protect you from maybe spying on networks and official networks and public networks. By the end of the day, you are using a platform that you are saying that, hey, you know what? This data that you are collecting, I'm giving you the permission to share it with yourself and then your group of companies. So at the end of the day, it's like a loophole to the same thing that you're trying to protect.
Now, this is a perfect segue to bring Michelle back into the conversation. Michelle, so if I clicked agree and I agreed to have Facebook see this information, what does that mean?
I think it's very clear when you click agree. In law, it means that you have accepted the contract. So it's legally binding on you. So that is why it's very important that before you sign a contract or you go into an agreement with anybody or any party, you read the terms and conditions. So as Facebook is saying that we should, or WhatsApp is saying we should accept this, legally you have accepted this, and it's a contract between you and Facebook. So every other term listed in the contract is binding on both parties. That's
have you read the contract, the terms and conditions? You've read it?
Yes, I've gone through.
Okay. Now, is there anything that screams leave WhatsApp to you?
Can you come again with the question?
As a WhatsApp, you use WhatsApp, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Good. Now, when you read the terms and conditions, did anything scream at you that I need to uninstall WhatsApp?
What screamed at me really was the previous policy, as in the one in force now, which is going to go away soon on 8th February. What screamed at me was there was this provision in the old one which says that respect for privacy is coded in our DNA. Since we started WhatsApp, we have aspired to build our services with sets of strong privacy principles in mind. And the new policy that is coming into effect, they've taken this away. And
they've taken that phrase away.
They've taken it away. So the new privacy policy that's coming in effect on 8th February, they've taken this completely away. And another thing that also screamed at me was they clearly stated in the previous one that we don't allow third-party advertisement banners on our services. Now they are saying that in the new one, they said if you accept it, we have no intention to introduce them. But if we ever do, we will update this privacy policy. So it got me a bit worried that the way we thought WhatsApp is going to be for us to be just to be sharing information with each other, the business mind is really coming into it. And that was a very big concern to me. And also with WhatsApp Pay, in Ghana, we have not yet gotten to WhatsApp Pay yet. But with India, they are currently using WhatsApp Pay. And it's also clearly indicating in the new terms and conditions that they are going to share some sort of your payment transactions or your payment information with Facebook, which is quite problematic for me. So these are some of the things that screamed at me with the new privacy policy that's coming into effect.
Wow. So that's very interesting. They've removed certain phrases or certain clauses, as the legal people would say. Yes, clause 1, 2, 3, chapter A. Anyway, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't use those terms. But they've removed these clauses. Michael, what does this mean to you?
I mean, like it's saying that it's ringing several alarm bells, and I am more and more eager to uninstall WhatsApp and be free of all this stress. I mean, credit to Michelle over there. You read over how many words was the legalese? Over 4. I mean, I've got a chart here that shows if you read at roughly 240 words per minute, which is the average reading speed, Facebook's policy alone will take you 17 minutes, over 4,000 words worth basically
Read the
telling
terms and conditions.
yeah, terms and basically
Using
tell you
Facebook.
that either you don't use Facebook or this is the amount of data we're going to take from
That's
you.
true.
At the very least, for now, we will, like you said in the old WhatsApp contract. At some points in the future, we will update it to tell you how much more data we will take from you, and that's even when they are being upfront about it. As opposed to other times where, like the Cambridge Analytica showed, that there are ways that data can be taken from you and made advantage of, and you wouldn't even know. The funny thing about that, when it was mentioned, the end-to-end encryption on WhatsApp. Now Signal, because the CEO of WhatsApp basically recreated the whole thing in Signal. He's been raising this thing for as long as Signal, even before he started Signal, that look, WhatsApp, yes, now is end-to-end encrypted. No one can peep in and see what you're talking about. But that doesn't mean that the users on the other side are not unknown. And I'm sure a lot of you can attest to this, that sometimes you are using Facebook and then from nowhere, friend suggestion. And you're wondering, how do you even know?
People in your WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, people in your WhatsApp
to
group.
you.
Sometimes people you've not even added to your phone,
Yeah.
but because you happen to be in the same place at the same time, which is data that WhatsApp can take from you without any worry, and then boom. And bear in mind, now your WhatsApp is connected in some way to your Facebook. Whether or not you decide to link it on purpose, now they have enough data
Don't
on
forget
you.
Instagram.
Oh, of course, how could I forget? They have literally, even if you don't willingly do it, like you say, oh, my Facebook is separate from my WhatsApp and everything. A lot of these things overlap. Your phone number, your location, all of these things, all of your digital fingerprints on the internet overlap. And WhatsApp have enough resources and money to build and to put in together systems that can analyze this data like that and build a profile on you before you can even say, oh, I agree or I don't agree. So, I mean, you've already been sold.
Well, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Which is very, very important because,
Definitely.
yes, we're all here making, WhatsApp is taking our data, shouting. But the same person crying about WhatsApp data is on Facebook. The same person is on Instagram. The same person has Messenger installed on their phone. That same person is on Google, signs in on Google with their phones, has all that data already being shared. And prior to this conversation, Joseph, you remember I was telling you, I picked up someone's phone, like someone's email.
Yeah.
The person willingly gave me their email and password because they wanted me to access the email. And I wanted to get the URL, but I couldn't get the URL. So I went to the person's My Activity, your Google Activity, which shows the history of everything you do with your Google account. Now, mind you, this access gave me access to every single app on the person's phone that the person was using, when they opened it, when they run it, what they did on Google Chrome, which websites they searched for, what they searched for,
YouTube.
Their location history, YouTube, everything, every link they clicked on their phone was being logged. All that data was there. And this same person sent me a message this evening saying that I'm leaving WhatsApp. I'm like, really? You are leaving WhatsApp? And the other data you're willingly giving out, you don't want to share with WhatsApp. I mean, come on, how selfish could you be? So for those leaving WhatsApp,
I get you.
why are they leaving WhatsApp if they're still going to be on these other platforms?
Okay, good. So before that, I think I want to make a clarification. As part of the information they collect, right, they don't actually get to see your messages themselves.
No.
That one,
Yeah,
I
they
think
don't,
I made that clear. Now, a lot of people are just following a crowd currently, okay? They hear that it's what is going on. It's the buzz. WhatsApp has privacy policy, so that's why you see the notifications. And Telegram is such a snitching application. It keeps on telling you people who keep on coming and all of that. So a lot of people are just following the crowd currently. Okay, so to answer that, look, the truth is that most people don't really understand the full implications of this. But I think the other side, and I'll call this a minority group, is that there are few people who are genuinely now like hearing these conversations and also finding out, okay, what is this data privacy thing people are talking about, and actually finding out, okay, what it is that Facebook or WhatsApp is even keeping on them and whatnot. And so we have a small minority of people who are genuinely like learning from this experience, and that is what we seek, especially from someone in my field, right? That the awareness will be there to at least change a small group of people, and it's a cascading effect. It should roll on. But look, for the most people, it is just following the crowd. Okay, I expect that in the next week everyone will be back.
To WhatsApp.
Yes. the signals and all of those things. A lot of people will be back because what he said, right? It's Michael, right?
Yeah.
What he
learning
said,
curve.
at the end of the yes, there's a learning curve. Also, you go there and then see there are a lot of people with older, family members, and they are not coming to learn Signal all over again. So the reality is that most people will eventually still use WhatsApp or accept the policies. But I think the conversation has started and it's gotten people interested in their privacy and the data, and that's I think that's what is important here.
Michelle, you were laughing when he said people would go back to WhatsApp. Are you foreseeing that happening? Do you want that to happen, or you want to see an exodus?
Oh, I honestly don't think a lot of people would even move to Telegram. It's because we are in the tech space, so we are monitoring that and all. I can bet you that majority don't even know this conversation is even going on.
True.
So I foresee that this will be over within just a couple of weeks or two. After February or March, unless something extraordinary happens, unless our data is really compromised, or unless Facebook is brought to Congress in the US to come and explain some other things they are doing with their product, that's with Instagram and the rest. But trust me, most people will remain on WhatsApp.
Shay, that point of Facebook going to Congress, I mean, it's already happened before, and based on this, it's very likely to happen again. I mean, there's even the conversation of the U.S. Congress breaking Facebook up back into its components pieces, which would be nice to happen, but do you expect it? Not really. But it did raise an issue in my head. What about our data protection agency? Granted, we are not one of the most powerful countries in the continent, let alone the world, because I was reading up, and the EU GDPR law protects them from this data theft. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
It protects them from this data theft. For them, nothing has really changed in their WhatsApp use. But the US and, let's say, forget the US, the rest of the world, including us, we don't have that. Now, I know we have much stronger data protection laws. They are not quite GDPR levels, but if I wish someone from the data protection agency will also answer this question for us at some point in time.
We will have someone to join us to have that conversation. You just overstepped when you are overspeeding as always.
Whoops. What are breaks? But I am putting it out there right now, so I don't even need to ask the question again. Now, what are they going to do? What do they realistically expect Facebook/WhatsApp to tell them in response to, okay, no, you cannot do this to people within our borders? I want to know what it is, because it'll be an interesting campaign to take up.
I'm still on. Before we'll have the Data Protection Commission join us soon. Okay. But before that, I'm still on my devil's advocate, stance. Here's the thing. This doesn't, ruin your WhatsApp experience.
It doesn't.
You're still using WhatsApp. I think that finding that, Michael and Joseph, who I'm in a group on WhatsApp with, are also on Facebook and are recommended for me to add them as friends, is actually a good idea. And it makes it more, it makes it easier for me to find them rather than going to search. And then, do you know how many Joseph quiz I would go through before I find you? Especially if you are using a picture of a cat as your profile picture. That would be very difficult. Facebook is making this easy for me to find you and then click add as a friend. Mind you, you, Michael, love cars. You go to Facebook and the adverts there are car related and are not of chicken nuggets and scented candles.
Okay, that is exactly fair. See? But counterpoint to that, right? And put it back to you, Spiky.
Okay.
We love cars.
Yes.
We see car adverts. How many of those car adverts have you looked at and said, yes, this is something beyond sponsored posts from car magazines, let me say, car websites and channels that we already follow? Beyond those, I'm like, this is a story I didn't see earlier, I'm interested. Beyond that, when a car product is usually not a car itself, in our case, it's usually a product. How many of those products have you looked at and seen, yes, I am interested in that? Because
would you believe that every single time I see an AliExpress ad showing me some accessory I could put on my car, I actually click.
What?
Yes. I ordered a side skirt decal from AliExpress because it was recommended for me.
Spiky, look, I agree with you, right? I agree with you in the sense that there's a positive side to it.
There
right?
is.
It makes connecting with friends easier. It makes suggestion of products way simpler because at the end
Yes.
of the day, the more data they have, the more they can make informed decisions, and that's
Exactly.
generally how
And
human
it's
beings behave.
It's nice.
The thing is, can I ask you this? You have a Facebook, right?
Yes, I do.
Are there some family members you have chosen not to say accept, even though they've requested you as a friend?
That IJ meant.
Are there some suggestions
Oh, I don't
that
hide anything. So I've
are there
accepted
some
all my family
suggestions,
friends.
friend suggestions that you don't even bother
I
to
can't
click
even
on?
accept. It's full.
Let's talk about your social media life.
Uh-huh.
Are there friends? Are the followers you have on Twitter, right? Do they mirror your Facebook friends?
You see, yes, I'm a very I cut across the same
Yeah.
thing. It's the same spiky everywhere. I don't change. I know. I get where you're coming from. There are some people
So I'm just going to
who are very
exactly.
different
See,
Twitter
I want to
from
emphasize on this based on the fact that I'm coming from the security side.
Yeah.
On the fact that say in a corporate environment, right? I'm working in a sensitive position. BOG people, you never
Yes.
see them advertise online that they work at Bank of Ghana.
No.
There's some positions that people don't talk about. But let's say someone from there installs WhatsApp, right? And uses WhatsApp for work communication.
Which
No,
is
by
already-
virtue of this, something that could happen was that suddenly this person, right, might end up being suggested on Facebook, or some of the profiles they want to keep low key. Some of the products the profiles they want to keep low key end up being suggested with the intention of being an advertisement or connecting you with people. But the truth is that they don't really want that. Right. So for certain groups, right, it has its advantages. Definitely, for the most people, it joins us to what we want to see. But for certain classes of people, they need to be very proactive in what it is that you are sharing about them, because it can endanger them in some cases even.
Right. Okay. So I get it. Then why are you on that platform anyway? Like, that's why I'm saying, like, if Kweku Anansi was here,
I like this thing you're doing. Keep on. With
if
this.
Kweku Anansi was here, he would say that pollutes the data. My identity on Facebook would be Kwame Nkrumah. If I don't even use Nkrumah, I'll use Kwame Tikesie.
Yeah.
And then on WhatsApp, I'm Spiky. And then on Twitter, I will be Kojo Nsio. And
Just to
there are three
segment.
different people. And I'm polluting the data. You never know who
it
this
is.
Which one's the
person
real
is.
one?
So if I'm working in a sensitive position, that's what I could do. To
And
remain
that's-
anonymous.
and that's fair, but you do understand at the end of the day, right? There are generally cases, right, whereby you want to segment your social life. For fact, what you just said was as an example of that.
Yeah.
Right. For me right now, Facebook is for checking on people's birthdays. Right.
Yeah,
No,
a
true.
reminder.
That's what Facebook does for me. And people should have that liberty to keep on using these applications the way they are using them. But with the way Facebook is going about things, whereby they own Instagram, right? They own WhatsApp. Soon they might have more control over your experiences than what people would like to, what people would like to exercise. And I think that kind of autonomy to make that kind of decisions and dictate your social life is what people want more of, and are more interested in things like these data privacy things that are happening. But let me just admit something straight to you.
Right.
That the truth is that where we are going into the future, we are getting to a point where you can't say that you are going to keep your privacy protected entirely. If you're going to use a product that is free, you have to accept that you are the product. And it comes with some repercussions that everyone has to accept. You don't accept, then you just go and get a yam and then, you
So,
chat
and
with
on
them.
that note, I think we have Madam Patricia Poku on the line. She's the head of the Data Protection Commission. She will be answering our concerns. Michael's first about why our Data Protection Commission cannot take the stance.
I'm not saying that why they can't. I
like,
actually expect them.
You actually expect them to. Okay.
I expect them to. I just want to know what do they expect to happen,
Okay.
and what can we realistically expect to change for us at least.
Okay. So, Madam Patricia Poku, are you on the line? Hello.
I'm listening.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Yes. So in the past days, many have been worried about their privacy on WhatsApp, and
Uh-huh.
your outfit comes to mind when something like this happens. So what's your take on this?
So I've said already in some conversations that this is not a new thing that is
Well, struggling to hear you a bit.
for Tunisian president.
Madam Patricia, if you could move around a bit, we're finding it a
Should
little
I
bit.
move around?
Yes, please. I think it's fine now. Okay. I think we lost you again.
Is she on the line?
Okay, so while we're trying to get Madame Patricia Poku to join us, Michelle, when Joseph made a point about was it Facebook, you reacted.
I can't see him.
You reacted. What
Rocking
was that
his
reaction
seat.
about?
You know, the issue is, for me, Spike, I think the very first day you decided to use a smartphone, it wasn't even about just this WhatsApp. What Facebook is actually doing, they are just trying to catch up with Google.
True.
I'm sure we all know that what is happening now, or what is about to happen on WhatsApp and Facebook, has been happening with Google. We all use the Google services. And since you started using Google Chrome, I'm sure you've been seeing things that have been popping up to you, and you've shared your data with them.
Yeah.
I don't think any one of us on this show has actually read the terms and conditions when we created our Google or Gmail account.
No, I don't think we did.
So, so I reacted because the conversation is about when are we actually going to get time to read terms and conditions and privacy policy?
I really
When
don't
are
think.
we going?
I really don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But let's go back to
Yeah,
Madame
so-
Patricia for a second. I'll come back to you, Michelle. Madame Patricia,
Yes, I'm listening. I can hear you clearly.
great. I can hear you
Fantastic.
clearly now too. So you were saying before we lost you.
What was the question again?
The
Sorry.
question was that, when many people are worried about their privacy when this whole WhatsApp policy was changed or was announced, and we want to know how your outfit comes in times like this.
Okay, so I've had a conversation with Facebook today, and like I said earlier to some stations, it's not a change in their privacy policy. Facebook is trying to be more transparent about what they do with our data. So this thing has been going on for years. If you've been on Facebook, then they've had access to some of your data, and they are doing this analysis, behavioral tracking. It's been ongoing for a long time. What they're doing with this privacy notice is trying to open it up so you can understand
Right.
in layman's terms exactly what is happening with your data. So they are opening up to the public,
Right.
telling us what they have been doing all along.
Okay. So
So that's what it is.
great.
But and as far as the concern is, yes, people have the right to be concerned about what Facebook is doing about their data. But at this time, it's good for us as a nation to be waking up to it and discussing it. Discussing the subject is good. It's going to help those users of Facebook who haven't really stopped to think about what they are putting up online and the potential impact on their privacy or the risk of harm and distress should it get into the wrong hands or certain decisions being made about them. My advice, as I gave on other stations this morning, is that your online presence should be your physical presence. So who you are normally is who you put online. If you put a different personality of yourself online, then when the gap closes, then you feel like you've been exposed one way or the other. But if you are who you say, and if you're introducing yourself to me, and you tell me who you are, and it's the same thing online, and then you shouldn't be really embarrassed about who you are. But it becomes a problem when the information about you that is being exposed is not really what you want others to see or to hear, or it's not the exact representation of yourself that you want to put out there. That's where it's challenging. So we want to tell people that it's like a mirror now. You put out there what you are not worried about other people knowing about you. If it's going to be a distress to you for me to find out or for someone else to find out, then it's not something you put on social media. Full stop.
Great. Thank you very much, Madame Patricia. I agree personally with that. What you are in person, that's what you should be online. But
Exactly.
clearly does not agree with this point. Do you think people should have a different personality?
And people
online
have
from-
a right to change their personality.
No,
And I'm
I
not
think,
restricting people and insisting that they put
Okay, I
the
think she's
same.
saying something.
But what I'm saying is that the digitized environment is now able to expose who you actually are or what additional layers of your personality exist. It can tell what your behavior is in private,
Yeah.
which you might not necessarily want the rest of the world to know. But there's a possibility now of exposing what you're likely to want, your choices, your decisions you make, your associations, your linkages to groups and opinions that you have can all be laid there, basically.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, Joseph, you wanted to say something?
No, so the thing is, I actually agree with her, right?
Okay.
I mean, to some extent. The only thing is, if we are going to say that we want to make our physical lives mirror the online lives, then we should also have the right to protect our privacy. Because we get to do that in real life.
Right.
I get to be able to not show you who the real me is. As to whether it is moral or not, that one is not up to you to decide. But I should have that choice
Yeah.
to depict to you whether if you take that choice away from me, right? I think that is where it becomes a bit of a gnarly issue when these discussions. But I agree with it, okay? Because I mean, yes,
I get where you're coming from.
You need to mirror.
I get where you're coming from with this, and I guess that's where people learned how to use incognito mode on Google Chrome.
You go to a lot of companies.
Yeah, you go to
see a lot of
certain
ninjas.
websites, and you don't want your browser history to capture that. You open incognito. So WhatsApp should create an incognito mode for that conversation I want to have. It should not be in my regular chat flow. There should be an incognito. Is that not what we're saying here?
Oh, I think yes. Given that option, it helps with mirroring people's real life.
True life,
events.
yeah.
It does,
So
it
what
does,
you
it
do
does.
outside
It should.
is fine. What you do behind closed doors.
That is fine. That's brilliant.
So, Michael, do you have any question for Madame Patricia?
Well, I wonder what have the rest of the regional data protection agencies said about this to her? Are they sharing the same thoughts, sentiments as her? Do they want to do something different?
Because India
I know India
wants
has,
to block,
like
remove Facebook.
So, Madame Patricia, are you still there? Okay, I think we lost her. So
whoops.
we've got a message. Kobby Spiky Nkrumah, to me, this is unfair, unacceptable, disappointing issue. If my privacy is being sold out, then I'd rather pay for and keep my privacy. Please, still counting on you for my Google Pixel 3a phone. Douglas, I hear you. Your Pixel 3a phone. I will work hard on it. Unfortunately, Google does not have company. Otherwise, I'd have gone to them and told them, hey, come and give Douglas from DC a phone. Hello, Nkrumah. I had a notification from WhatsApp Messenger that said I should update the app. I did yesterday. Afterwards, when I opened the app, it said WhatsApp from Facebook. What does this imply? I sent the above mentioned post on April 28th, but you didn't respond. Now it's affecting all of us. Anyway, can I sue WhatsApp Messenger for sharing my data without seeking my approval? If yes, how do I go about it? That's from Auntie Della. Michelle, you will answer that in a bit. Hello, Geek Squad. Very interesting topic under focus. My point is that data, our phone is already widely shared on social media platforms, mostly at our blind side. So I don't find this to be anything new. For example, whenever I use the GG app to search for some items and visit Facebook afterwards, all advertisements I get there are items I search for on GG. I agree. I also get that. There's also a security section under my privacy section under apps and websites on Facebook that allows you to manage the information you share with apps and websites that you've logged into, which is usually turned on at the blind side of most users who have not taken the pains to secure their privacy on Facebook. Our lives are no more private. We're being bullied. That's Kwame Richard from North Kaneshi. And is there going to be any different if I bin WhatsApp and maintain Facebook? Is the data safe with Facebook alone? That's from Nana. So, Michelle, someone says they want to sue WhatsApp for using their data without their permission. What's your take? What's your take on that? Is it possible?
So earlier on, I was saying that when you accept the terms, it's legally binding on you. So when you go into the terms and conditions of the contract, that's between you and WhatsApp, the applicable law in there is the state of California in US.
Okay.
So before you can be able to bring an action against WhatsApp, you have to commence the proceedings over there. But California. Alternatively, I even wanted to ask Madam a question, the head of data protection, that alternatively you can lodge a complaint when you detect or see any breach of your privacy with the Data Protection Commission. But that is what the law says.
Great. Okay, so that's cool. And then there were other questions that Dennis.
I think that lady.
Yeah.
I think she wanted to know. She had experience. She had an experience whereby she accepted some policies and then she went on Facebook. She went on Facebook and I think she saw that she was seeing her WhatsApp being mirrored there. I think that's what she was saying, or unless I got that wrong. Yes. So look, basically what happened was that's just going to be what is going to be happening going forward. Facebook is going to unify some of these platforms in order to get the most out of them, and that's the reality of it.
Basically, to be able to profile you better.
Can we conclude?
Know what? Yeah.
Okay.
All the things that you're doing.
All right. So I think for me, right, I'm very happy we're having these discussions. That's what I want to see happening more. I want to also use the opportunity to speak to the developers out there, because something funny is happening whereby you download an application and it comes with certain amount of permissions and policies. Then as you keep on updating the application, the policies keep on changing.
Yeah. So
and
every
they keep
time
on sharing more and more things. My bank application, I used to be able to use some features without the location. Now they want to learn the location. Why? Because they are using the location data to build understanding and possibly monetizing. I think it's something that the developers need to be careful about in terms of updating policies and sneaking it on the blind side of people. I think these are some of the things that eventually mirror what Facebook is doing right now.
I think next week we should have a conversation on all the data that's been collected from us across apps. Not every app, because we can't do every app. Thank you, Joseph, for joining me. Thank you, Michelle from the US. Thank you, Michael, for making it here. And thank you, Madam Patricia Poku, for answering our questions. And thank you, the listener, for listening to us, those on Facebook and on Twitter for watching us live. My name is Kobby Spiky Nkrumah. We've been talking about WhatsApp and the new terms and conditions and privacy. If you didn't understand anything, catch us with the hashtag Geek Squad. See you next week.